It's your boy BLKThought back at it again with another video, and today we got a banger once again. So everybody knows Fredrick Douglass, but do you know how Fredrick Douglass actually escaped slavery? Stay tuned to find out. First and foremost, I need you guys to remember this date, September 3rd, 1838. Remember that date. That date is the center point of the story. Remember it. So, September 3rd, 1838. 2 years before September 3rd, 1838, Fredrick Douglass tried to escape. Sadly, one of his fellow slaves and friends snitched on him. Ain't that about a biscuit? And then when they snitched, Fredrick got arrested and jailed. Once he got out of jail, his slave master sent him to Baltimore to work as a ship hand or a ship caulker. And as a ship caulker, he learned about the sea, right? He learned some navigation. He learned some, basically enough. And so this is where September 3rd, 1838 comes into play. Anna Murray, his soon-to-be / future wife, gave him a sailor's disguise because as a sailor, one, you're treated differently, and two, you can use a sailor's pass as like free papers. So he got a sailor's disguise from his future wife, Anna Murray, and then from a friend of his, he got a sailor's pass. Pretend this is a sailor's pass and not my notes. So then he went to a train, right? Because this train's coming up. It's September 3rd, 1838. He gets on this train, and this train's going northbound toward New York. There are 3 checkpoints that he's going to get through. So checkpoint A is this train. So there's a ticketing agent before you get on the train, and that ticketing agent goes through your papers to make sure everything's legit, right? Make sure you're free and not trying to escape. You can see how this would be an issue. So to avoid the ticketing agent, guess what he does? He jumps on the train. He jumps on the train while it's moving, which, one, really dangerous, but it worked. The ticketing agent didn't really get to look at his papers since he jumped on while it was moving. That being said, about halfway through the trip, the conductor of the train makes his way to the back segregated cars, and then he goes through the papers of all the people there himself. There's like as a second checkup or whatever have you. He gets to Fredrick Douglass. At this point, Fredrick Douglass is scared. He is terrified. See, because he's already tried to get away again. If he gets caught this time, he's gone. And not only is he gone, but the friend who he got that sailor's pass from would also be gone. So a lot is riding on this conductor. In fact, Fredrick Douglass writes that the rest of his life depends on this conductor. Luckily, when the conductor gets to Fredrick Douglass, he says, "Hey, Fred, do you have your papers?" And see, I left out a little detail. On Fredrick Douglass's papers, the description of the person on those papers looks nothing like Fredrick Douglass. Nothing, not even remotely similar. So, when he gets those papers, he hands them to the conductor. "Here you go, conductor." Conductor's looking at him, and Fredrick is like, "Please don't look at the description. Please don't look at the description. Please don't look at the description." The conductor just looks at the big circle that has the eagle on the top, gives him back the papers, says he's good. Boom. Is he free? Not yet.
But wait! There's more!
We ain't done. So, he gets past checkpoint A. Now he's at checkpoint B. At checkpoint B, he has to ferry across the Susquehanna River, something like that. The Susquehanna River. And on the ferry, guess who he sees? An old acquaintance of his that somewhat recognizes him. And when that acquaintance somewhat recognizes him, he walks up to Freddie and he's like, "Yo, Fredrick." Well, he didn't say Fredrick, but he's like, "Hey, man, you look familiar. Do I know you?" And he's asking all these questions. "Where are you from? What's your name? Who's your family? You look familiar. Did I mention we know? Did we go to the same high school together?" So on and so forth, so on and so forth. At this point, Fredrick is scared. Fredrick's like, "Yo, bro, you about to blow my cover, and then you got to run these hands." So luckily, something happens and Fredrick is able to get away from the conversation, where he then hides from the guy for the rest of the ferry ride before his cover was blown. So now we're at checkpoint C. At checkpoint C, he has to get on the final train northbound to get to New York so he can be free. On this northbound train to New York, he's looking through the window, and right across from his station is the old ship captain that he used to work for. Luckily, the ship captain does not turn around to see Fredrick. Luckily. However, there was a German blacksmith that worked alongside Fredrick Douglass with the ship captain. And he noticed Fredrick Douglass. In fact, their eyes locked. Almost like they were having a blinking contest. Luckily, that German blacksmith did not want to betray Fredrick Douglass. In fact, Fredrick Douglass himself writes that German blacksmith that he saw seeing him, saw him seeing him, didn't have the heart to betray Fredrick Douglass.
My man.
Luckily, Freddie was good to get past checkpoint C and up to New York. At New York, here's where there's another issue. See, he was on free land and free soil, but he was not yet free legally. In fact, I don't know if you guys know about this thing called the Fugitive Slave Act, where they could catch them and send them back. New York was crawling with slave hunters. They would literally walk through the streets looking for slaves, even stopping free black people and be like, hey, you a slave? So because of that, Fredrick had to go into hiding. He goes into hiding, been hiding out in this anti-slavery abolitionist guy's house. He just shelters him there. While he's there, he's waiting on his future wife, Anna Marie, to slide up to New York from Baltimore. Once she gets to New York, they move out and go to New Bedford, Massachusetts. I can't say that word. Massachusetts. MA. So anyways, at New Bedford, MA, they finally get married. And after getting married, Fredrick Douglass changes his name from the former Frederick Bailey to Fredrick Douglass so that nobody would know. Boom. Genius. Now, at this point, this is when Fredrick Douglass really begins to grow into the abolitionist guy that everyone knows around the world. And as his influence grew, his supporters actually raised the money for him to buy his legal freedom. And from there, he was unstoppable. September 3rd, 1838. See, Fredrick Douglass didn't know his birthday, as many slaves didn't. However, September 3rd, 1838 began his free life because that's the day he escaped. So he used that day as his birthday and celebrated it every single year. Come on now. Come on now. Tell me that is not the G'est thing you heard today. Come on now. That is the story of Fredrick Douglass's crazy escape from slavery. How he became the man we hear of today. If you like this video, please like the video. Tell me in the comments what you think about his story, what you think about how he escaped, if the German guy really recognized him, or if he just didn't want to snitch. With that, I'm signing out. Appreciate you. BLKThought. Oh, wait. Follow me on Instagram. Now I'm signing out.